Hey y'all, I'm Jennifer Howe, your Metro Atlanta and North Georgia Realtor. I'm here today in a little bit more informal stance, and you'll see why here in just a second. But I wanted to talk to you first about some stuff going on in today's market. It's a scary time for all of us. I get it. We're all kind of in this situation we've never been in before. We have fear of the unknown. We don't know when we're going to get back to normal. But let me give you a few stats that may make you feel a little bit better. The real estate market is still strong as it's ever been. We've had over 150 go on the market just in the last 24 hours in my area. We've had 114 go under contract and 200 go pending. So yes, houses are still being bought and sold on a daily basis here in Atlanta, even through all the quarantine. So that should give you a little bit of hope that there is life going on as normal, even though we may not see it on a daily basis. Now, here in Atlanta, we've had and throughout North Georgia, we had some pretty significant storms last night. I want to first of all say I'm incredibly thankful. My family is from the Chattooga and Walker County areas. They are all okay, although some of their homes are not. We did experience one family member that lost his home completely. Several family members lost their barns. And then of course there's lots of houses that had trees down and things like that. So I'm very thankful that my family is still okay. Hey Chattooga and Walker County, love you guys. But cleanup is what I kind of want to go into with this video. So we are practicing social distancing here. My daughter Grace is my cameraman today. So Grace, if you could, you can kind of pan out into the yard. In our own yard, we have, I don't know if you can tell in the video, but we did have a couple of trees down back here. Grace, if you can show them the trees down back there. I don't know if you can tell it. And then we have another one over here. So we did lose a couple of trees we're gonna have to get out there and clean up. And our pool took a big hit as far as just dirtiness from the storm last night. So today we're gonna talk about what to do after the storm to clean your pool up, or just general pool tips in general. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're going to turn off our pump so that we can start to clean our pool. So I'm gonna go turn off my pool pump and I will be back with you in just a minute. Okay, so I've turned off my pool pump, and that is to keep debris from your pool from getting into your pump while you're cleaning out your skimmers. So each pool, with in-ground pools anyway, have at least 2-3 skimmers that you're gonna need to clean out individually. You just pop the top off, and mine has pretty significant yuckiness in it right now. They do make tools specifically for this. This is just a kitchen strainer that we use. You can use whatever you'd like, but this does tend to do a pretty good job. And you can see there's lots of gross stuff in there. So we're just gonna throw that out to the side and make sure we get all the yuckiness out of our skimmer baskets. I do not recommend sticking your hand down in these without cleaning it out first, because they do get critters in them, frogs, bugs, snakes. We've even had a baby possum in ours at one point, so I would clean it out before you reach down in to pull the basket out. So you're just going to continue this process of scooping things out until you get these baskets pretty well cleaned out, and then we'll move on to step 2. All right, now that we have our skimmer baskets completely cleaned out, the next step is to skim the top of your pool with a net. There are lots of different kinds of nets, and you're going to need to have at least 2 types. First, we have a wider mesh net, which is my blue one here. And I'm not sure if you can tell in the video that is just like I said, a little bit of a wider mesh. That picks up your bigger materials like leaves, sticks, and whatnot out of the pool. Once you skim through with the wider mesh, you're going to want to go back through with a much finer net mesh. Let me switch these out so you can see. With a much finer mesh net, you can tell that one, the difference in the size of the mesh. This gets all your fine stuff out, like you can see here. That's gonna get out bugs and smaller bits of material. So you're gonna do all of your bigger stuff out of the pool and then switch your net out one more round to get all the small stuff out. So I'm gonna go ahead now and start with my bigger mesh net. and start to get some of the bigger debris out of the pool. All right, now that Grace and I have finished skimming the majority of the debris off of the top of the pool, you do just have a couple of steps left. The bottom of the pool is still a mess. The easiest way to clean that, there are a lot of ways. You can brush everything toward your main drain. There are manual vacuums that you can get. There's a wide variety of different products that any pool store will sell to do that. Grace can show you our little guy. We chose a Polaris automatic robot for its ease of use. So we can just drop this in the pool. I can turn it on and come back 2 hours to a pretty much spotless bottom of our pool. So that was our route to go, just for the sake of time. So you're gonna wanna clean the bottom of your pool. The last step is your chemicals. Anytime you have a storm that dumps that much water into your pool, your chemicals are likely gonna get off. So if you have a saltwater pool like mine, you're gonna wanna check your salt. Your salt should be anywhere from 2,900 to 3,200-ish parts per million, or 2.9 to 3.2. And then if it's low, you're going to want to, you hear my waterfall coming back on. If it's low, you're gonna wanna add 1 bag for every 100 ppms that it's low. So for instance, if you like to keep your pool salinity at 3,000 and it's reading at 2,600, you're 400 ppms low, which means you'd want to add 4 bags of salt, as a general idea. The other part you're going to want to check, saltwater or not, are your chemicals. There are 2 ways to do that. If you have a Leslie's Pool Supply near you, you can go by and get one of these little bottles for free. They'll just give it to you. And you can take it back in. Actually, you can take it in even in like a mason jar and they'll still test it for you. But you can take this in, just fill it up completely, about an inch or so. It needs to be down in the water a little bit to get a correct sample. And they do a free 9-point analysis at Leslie's for you. And they'll tell you right there on the spot what it needs, and you can buy it. It's really easy. We do that a lot at a time. We do also have test strips, and I'll see if Grace can show you the kind that we use. We just got these off Amazon, and it is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, 6-step, and it's just a little strip. So you take a strip, and it's very easy. I'm gonna walk over here. You're just gonna dip it down into your pool, swish it for just a second, doesn't take much. Then you bring it back up, and if Grace can kind of hone in on us here, it's very easy. You line up your thumb and strip with this. So you can tell I have a few things because of the storm that's very low. My cyanuric acid is really low. Alkalinity is okay. pH is okay. Chlorine is okay. Total chlorine is a little bit high, and then the hardness is okay. So the difference between your total chlorine and your free chlorine. Your free chlorine is, let me tell you, make sure I'm getting this out. Your free chlorine is your active chlorine. That's what's actively cleaning your pool. Your total chlorine includes your active chlorine and your inactive chlorine. Inactive chlorine does not clean your pool. So if you get to a point, and we are kind of there, our total chlorine is a little higher than our free chlorine. So when you get in that situation, it means you need to shock your pool. So you can buy non-chlorine shock at any pool supply store. Walmart even carries it. And you're gonna wanna put in, they sell them in little 1-pound bags, and that's how I like to buy them. And I'll probably put in at least 4 to 5 bags of shock, because my total chlorine is higher than my free chlorine right now, probably because of the storm. A few other of the things that you saw me look at, the cyanuric acid was very low. That is your stabilizer or your conditioner. So I'm going to need to go to the store later and get some conditioner or stabilizer to drop into the pool. I have a handy dandy little cheat sheet I use that tells me what to do with all of my different all the different chemicals if they're high or low. So if anybody would like a copy of this, the little cheat sheet, I'm happy to share it. You just need to send me your email address, drop it in the comments, and I can share that with you, no problem. There's a lot more obviously in-depth stuff with chemicals that it's just too time consuming here today to go into, but that gives you a real rough idea of what you're going to need to maintain your pool in general, and especially after a storm. Now, my helper pointed out a question to me earlier when we were talking about the real estate market. So, how are 200-300 homes going on them or going under contract every day while we're under quarantine and social distancing? It's a very good question. There are a lot of different things going on right now. A lot of people are doing virtual tours. So you can go on and do a virtual tour of the house using pictures. Or we as agents are considered essential business right now. So we can go in, FaceTime you, and do a little virtual showing with you that way to keep you home and safe. If you decide you love a home through the virtual tours, you can go in if the seller says it's okay and do a real showing using precautions. We want to stay 6 feet apart. You want to wear your mask. You want to wear your gloves. We want to make sure we're protecting sellers and not touching all of their things. We definitely don't want to go into someone's home if you're running a fever or having symptoms of the COVID-19 virus. But yes, there are ways to go look at homes virtually and even live right now if you're in a position where you really need to buy a home. Good question. So any other questions, y'all reach out to me. Again, I'm Jennifer Howe, your Metro Atlanta and North Georgia Realtor. Y'all have a great day.